Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to go ahead and talk to you about the timeshare, especially with Wyndham. So who we had ours with? Well, we had a trial. So here's what happened. Last year wife and I went to Vegas to visit her daughter, my stepdaughter, and spend a week here in Vegas. So we were actually staying at the Virgin Hotel. Very nice hotel, very bougie. Really, it's off the strip, so it really wasn't as busy as a lot of the other hotels that are right there on the strip. Casino was never packed. It was very nice, very enjoyable, relaxing, and we had a good time there. But anyway, so as we were just walking about throughout the day, we went into some casino, hotel, whatever, and as we're walking through, there just in the hallway, some lady had stopped us and asked what we were doing. So we said, we're just here on vacation. And so she was obviously a very trained salesperson, and so she said that if we were to entertain a hour spill by the timeshare Wyndham, that they would give us all this stuff. And so they I don't know, gave us like I don't know whether it was $50 or $100 each in gambling credits. And so they would give us that credit, and we went to a particular casino that they had those credits for, and then you could play on the slots, but it was very limited to the slots you could play. These things, let me see if I can pull one up and show you, but they were like dinosaurs for gambling, and felt like we were working on an old machine from, say, Mission Impossible 1950s era. It was very rudimentary. They were old. It wasn't enjoyable, no pleasurable sounds or anything, and we literally didn't win squat. So it was just like, here, put your $50 credit in here, push the button until it goes down, and call that entertainment. So anyway, they gave us the credits for that, and then they gave us tickets for free shows for something, and also a credit, I think it was like $100 credit for eating at any of the particular restaurants inside this one casino hotel. So we went in there and we actually ate at a steakhouse. Their food was phenomenal. I think we ended up spending like $200, so we had a $100 credit. So our meal ended up only costing us $100. But again, the steak was amazing. It was top notch. So anywhere else you'd be paying that at least $100 for it. So money, it was decent. But anyway, so they gave you all this stuff to entice you in, but they give you all that for like a $40 payment. So it was okay. So we went in and paid for that, and then came time for our reservation at the timeshare. So we go in, and it's at the Wyndham Boulevard. It's off the strip there, out a little ways. And we went in there, sat down, and you could hear them all cheering in the background there, like they made a sale or something. And just like all that team member hype, making you think something exciting's going on. So we sat there in their lobby and asked if we want coffee and water or whatever. And so then they bring us in, and they start asking us questions, and they try to build some type of like a personal relationship, something that they can relate to you. And they ask you certain questions like your birthday, and say, oh, mine's in September too. And it's like, I don't know. But anyway, after they started talking to us, we were kind of wishy-washy about, not sure if it was going to be something we would want to do. Then they went in and brought in like more pressure salespeople. At one point we had 4 different salespeople ganging up on us, if you will, trying to get us to bite into their program. And we so we were supposed to be just an hour thing, and it was dragging out. As like, I think once they got our information and pulled our credit, they're like, oh yeah, let's take these guys for all we can. But ended up that their timeshare package is like, it's a lifetime investment, or there ended up being like over $60,000 for their timeshare package. And they try to entice you in, saying that you can't just use it for their hotels. You can use it for cruises if you want to go camping. They're tied with KOA with different RV places. It's like they try to make us like, well, you don't have to stay in a hotel. If you want to go camping, you can go camping. And they try to make it sound like no matter what type of vacation you want, they've got a place where you can stay. And so yeah, we're still wishy-washy about I just couldn't come up with that kind of investment. It just didn't seem like the right thing to do. But at this time, all the other people that were there, they were pretty much cleared out, and I think they only made one sale that whole time we were sitting. There was probably like 20 different groups in there. They had a whole sales team that do this on a regular basis. I think like every hour or so they bring in people. So it got to the point where they were like pleading, and it was almost got to the point where they were being not so polite anymore, and they were like, I can't believe you don't understand why you wouldn't invest in this, and it's for your future. They're like trying to put the blame game on you, and it's like telling us that basically if we didn't do it, we were just making a bad decision. But ultimately we said no, and so then they came up with this follow-up sales guy, and he was way more pleasant, and he was no pressure, and he just basically laid it out. He said, well, hey, okay, you don't want the big package, so what if you just give it a little try? So he sold us a 2-year plan. Ended up being like $3,000 for a 2-year plan. They give you 20,000 points, and basically what it equates to, we got this timeshare for this Vegas trip here. We stayed for 6 nights, and ended up being roughly $100 a night is what it worked out to be. So of our $3,000 I paid for our 2-year plan of the 20,000 points, I think we used just over 5,000 points. And so yeah, it roughly works out about $100 a night. And I tell you, they call this their discovery package for, basically discover what Wyndham has to offer, and then you'll want to invest in their big timeshare package. But Wyndham did a horrible job selling this discovery. Well, not selling, because they sold us the discovery, so they did their job there as far as selling it. But as far as presenting and showing you what Wyndham has to offer as a timeshare, they did a horrible job with Discovery, because with Discovery you're limited to only, I think, 45 or less properties to choose from throughout their whole worldwide network. You only have that many different to choose from, and then they block you out from being able, like we tried booking stuff in Florida, so it was very frustrating not being able to find places to book. And so when we was looking here in Vegas to get something, they have like four or five different properties in Vegas, but only what was coming up was at their main office, the Boulevard. And what they showed us when we did the walkthrough with the rooms, it was like a 3-bedroom. It was like very nice laid out, almost like a townhome. But then when I tried to book, it first said their website's really hokey, because it was showing that there were 1-bedrooms and studios available. But then when I actually went to book, it was saying I could only do a studio. And so because we wanted, definitely come out here and visit my stepdaughter, went ahead and got the studio. And so then when we arrived, I had inquired if they could upgrade us to a 1 bedroom. And the gentleman at the desk, he was able to do that. So even though I only paid the points for the studio, I did get a 1 bedroom, which was better. So it was a hotel room with a bedroom. It came with a full kitchen, and it was kind of an older layout. There was no USB available anywhere, so I always had to have like my laptop open so I could plug in my USB for charging and whatnot. But the carpet was old, and it wasn't like vacation style hotel that you would expect. But they don't allow animals, but my wife said she could certainly smell animals. She's very sensitive to like dog smells, and she could smell dog in the carpet. And so we had to Febreze, we had to do some cleaning just to make it more suitable while we stayed there. But the fact that we were only limited to there, and they had a little marketplace there in their courtyard, and it was, they had Starbucks coffee there, and it's supposed to open at 7 o'clock every morning. So on my second morning when I went there, they were not open. So I went up to the front desk and asked them about it, and they said, "Oh, they're not open." So I guess whatever employee just didn't make it in the morning, overslept or something, or decided just not to come in. So I was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to get some coffee," and they're like, "Oh, well, they should be open in about a half hour." I was like, "All right," and so I went back to my room and waited around for a little bit. And then I went back a half hour later, a little after, and they still weren't open. And so they seemed to be a little more rushed. There were like 2 or 3 other guys that were going to go play golf. They were wanting to get some coffee too. Nothing. So I went back inside, and I was like, I'd like to get a cup of coffee. And most nice hotels, like you go into a Hilton where I stay for when I do my remote work stuff, they always in the lobby have coffee, that you can get at no charge, and you just right there in the lobby, just as a convenience to get a nice cup of coffee. And nope, they had nothing. And so I saw inside their members only area, they had coffee makers and stuff. I was like, "Well, can I get some coffee?" I said, "See it right there." And he acted like it was an issue. So he actually went in there and asked one of the salespeople. He said, "Hey, can he get a coffee?" And they were like, "Sure." So I went in and got my coffee, but that was not accessible to me as a Discovery member. This is like you're wanting to sell a package, timeshare package, but you're limiting me to what the experience is, and that's just horrible. So it just didn't make any sense to me that here Wyndham has a timeshare package. They're trying to sell you the big investment where it's well over $60,000. Gives you so many points per year, and you can use it worldwide. And they supposedly have the biggest network of timeshares. And so with this Discovery package, that they limit you to your accessibility to properties, as well as treat you as a second-class citizen, that you're not privy to the full member services where you can get your coffee for free and other things like that. I mean, granted, they give you the little packets you can do in your hotel room, but I never like using those because who knows how long they've sat there and collected dust, and you have to go through the process of cleaning them and stuff. It's like I shouldn't have to do that, and I just would rather get nice fresh coffee that someone makes and I can just go get. But anyway, am I being too selective there? I don't know, but I don't think so. But yeah, so Wyndham did a horrible job with their presentation of what it means to be a member. Their discovery concept, the executives, whoever put that package together, they need to rethink it, because as a business owner myself, if I'm trying to sell something to somebody, samples are generally better than what the actual product is. So why would you give a less than desirable product sample and expect the customer to bite into it and say, yeah, I want that? It's like, yeah, their idea, that's just they didn't sell me. Anyway, so with this follow-up stay with their discovery, they still want you to spend half hour time with them, so they can basically resell you, or reapproach to buy into their timeshare package. So they secure you to be there by charging you $40, and then once you are there for the meeting, then they reimburse you that $40. So I thought even that was shady. So like, that's how they lock you in to at least hear in their presentation. So we went to the follow-up, and the sales guy and the finance guy, they were a little more understanding. Basically told them, what I'm telling you guys here is just like, they did a horrible job selling the package and or presenting the package. They sold us the 2-year discovery package, so they did a good job of that. But as far as presenting it and showing you what that was all about, very poor. Wyndham, you missed the mark on that one, because this experience at this timeshare was less than desirable, and it bothers me going into this, seeing other people that they're bringing in, trying to sucker them in. This type of sales approach, I think, is very unethical. It's not, I don't know, it's unethical, is all I can say, and I feel sorry for anyone that gets suckered into it, because that's exactly what it is. They're getting scammed, suckered into this package of what it really means, and I just can't imagine anybody feeling like they got a good deal after they've been scammed into signing off on something like that. And I can't ever see signing up for a timeshare like that. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts, your experiences with timeshares? Are you, I see a lot of attorneys, saying they can get you out of it and stuff. So that obviously, people buy into it and then they have regrets. So I'd like your guys' your input, your thoughts on it. We're just gonna just take these vacations as we can go, and we find deals, and that always seemed to work out for us. So anyway, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and until next time.